Howdy, partner. Welcome to one of the most northern parts of the United States of America. Travel with me upriver as we talk to a bunch of ladies and fellers and they share their tales of wit and wisdom. That's right, it's time again for Skagit Storytellers.
With Liz Duffy.
And then I finally was like, you know what? Me meeting my husband is a whole story. But basically it started off with that I was like, I'm not going to try to date musicians. I'm not going to date some guy I meet in a bar. I'm letting that go. I'm going to try online dating and just go for somebody completely different.
Yeah, office worker. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you did.
I mean...
Is he a musician?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but... As the story goes with him and I is that, so I had that epiphany after, I don't even want to say how many people I tried to date, but.
It's so hard. You think you get your heart broken and you'd learn? No.
No.
Why does it take 20 times?
No.
I don't know.
I just kept trying to date the same person who like either didn't have a job or didn't have a car or didn't have a place to live. Right? There was never those three things at the same time and a music player. And tried the online dating thing and was like, I'm going to be so picky, right? I'm going to talk to this guy online. I'm going to suss him out. And so I ended up talking to two guys quite a bit for like a month online and on the phone. And like, wow, they're both really nice. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to lead either one of them on. I'm going to meet them both in the same weekend, and I'm going to decide who I'm going to date. Go to meet up with the first guy, because I'm like, yeah, I'll give him my Saturday. Like, he seems like more the one. We had mutual friends. I was so excited to meet him. And he tries to stand me up.
Ooh.
Day of. He's like, I don't feel good. I left my ID at the bar last night. You know, like all of these weird excuses, right? Yeah. And I'm texting with my girlfriends at the time. I'm like, oh my God, this is his newest excuse. Can you believe this? Like, whatever, blow him off. Like, come hang out with us. And so I did. And my husband, Vance, was hanging out with them. And so I sat and talked with him. And
he wasn't one of the guys you were supposed to meet.
Nope.
Oh.
He was just hanging out with my awesome girlfriends, who I'm like, they're, you know, one's a poet, both very outspoken, strong women. One's a poet, like, you know, and anyway, I just was like, any guy who can hang with those girls, right, can handle strong women.
Why hadn't they tried to set you up with him before?
I just don't think anybody thought about it.
Did I ever tell you about my number? My special number? Mm-mm. So my number is 217.
Okay.
And when I was, I want to say like 3 or 4 years ago, probably 5 now, I wanted to start my own like little company. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I started making stickers online, and Olive and I published a book. And so I was thinking about, I want to have like a name for my company, like Liz Designs. Oh, I started posting things on Teacher Pay Teacher. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's like a website that teachers go to when they're looking for like a fun activity. You know, you type in 5th grade fractions, and it has a cool worksheet. And so I started making Teacher Pay Teacher stuff, and I was like, oh, I want like a cool name for my company. So I started with EH Plus, and I did that because my initials used to be EH, but then also that's like A, like Canadian, you know, A, and I'm Canadian. So I was like, ooh, that's even better. So I did that, but then I saw online that when you type in like EH, it's like eHarmony.
Oops.
And so I thought, okay, I don't want to do that. I didn't want to do like Liz Designs. And I thought, I want like something that's me, but not like outwardly my name. And then I like went back to high school, and I remember this girl, she was looking at this woodworking project, and she's like, why did someone write 217 on this project? And I was like, oh, just flip it around. It says Liz, like all in caps, you know? Oh. And she's like, oh. And so she started calling me 217 just for fun. You know, this was like 8th grade. And then I started thinking about it, and I thought, you know, maybe I should do that. And then something just clicked in me. So my mom passed away when I was 23. And for some reason, I thought about her. Her birthday is February 17th.
Whoa.
I know, right? Doesn't it give you goosebumps?
Yeah, wow.
I thought, no, that's it. That's my company. So it's called 217 Digital. And sometimes it'll be like, you know, something will, like a really cool lyric will happen or something. I'll look at the song and it's at 2 minutes and 17 seconds or a really cool video I saw online, this cool interview with David Goggins. I love him. It was 2 hours and 17 minutes. I'm like, I'm on the right path. Like, it's just like a sign, you know?
Yes.
So when you and I sat down, I opened up my old Forest Stoke session because I just knew this one worked and it had the levels I wanted. So I just opened it and I randomly just clicked a spot to start. And I just hit record and I started at 2:17. Isn't that so cool?
Yes.
So I feel like that's just the universe saying, like, this is supposed to happen.
Yay.
So I know. And we were going to record before and it didn't work out, but it wasn't supposed to work out. It was supposed to work out today on 10:30.
There we go.
Maybe that's your number. I don't know.
That whole third time's a charm
I know.
thing, Or...
I wasn't sure what Stone told you about this experience, but don't listen to him. No, just kidding.
No, he was like, I think he was just stoked to be asked.
Was he
right?
the
And have
first
opportunity.
episode of mine that you listened to?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That must have been so fun to listen to. Like your really close friend, hearing all his stories. Mm-hmm. Now, my question is, was there anything that you listened to that you didn't know? Or was there anything he said that was news to you?
I think a handful of things about his childhood, right? That I had heard or maybe he had mentioned, but there were details that he shared that I just didn't know before, or like things about his musical past, right? So it was fun to get more of a peek behind the curtain because you know how it is when you're friends with somebody, like those little pieces get shared over time, but to then just hear a distilled version, especially with the questions you ask and the way you like track things too. Like I appreciated that design of the questioning because it did make it fun, like in that way of like the curiosity following that happens with that, and that it was just really satisfying.
That's one thing I love about this is hearing, I'll have friends text me and go, I just listened to an episode. I thought this person I was very close with, I just learned 5 things about her that I didn't know, So that's like really fun there. Yeah. But also, I mean, we see each other all the time, but it's at shows. Yeah. You can't really, you're not going to dive into your childhood.
Right.
So, yeah, that's why I like this too. It's like, there's no rules, like share what you want. And yeah, people get to explore things about, each other. And just hearing about family too, I think is really neat. And yeah. So I'm glad you're here.
Oh my gosh.
So I like to start this podcast with talking about how we met, and I'm racking my brain. Did we meet at, I know I saw you recently with Stone at El Capitan, but that couldn't have been the first time we met. Was it at Cats? When you were doing the storytelling?
I think it was.
That was in March.
Yeah, I think so. And that we had been in contact online before that. And then that just, was the first, like, get to see your face in person instead of through photos. And
that was a great event. That was really fun. Yeah. Yeah, I think your name kind of just started appearing because you start to friend all the musicians and you start to see names coming up. And so I didn't know, I think I knew you were from around here. But when you sang your song, was it called Upriver Livin'? What was it called? It was something about being from Upriver.
Born Upriver.
Born Upriver.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. So right away, I know that she's going to sing that song on my podcast.
Yes.
Because it wasn't on the Creepy EP.
No.
So,
nope.
And it wasn't on your new album because I know that album. Yeah. So anyway, and I really have enjoyed, even though I want to say we've probably spoken in person maybe 4 or 5 times, but I really like talking to you. And I'm pretty sure everyone feels that way when they speak with you.
Aww, thanks.
And I thought, even if I didn't know her at all, I think she'd be just a great speaker. So spotlight's on you. Pressure's all the way to the roof, I hope you feel it. This is going to be the best podcast I've ever released.
Aww,
and
you're so sweet.
Go. No, just kidding. So where are you from? Where does your story start?
My story starts over at United General Hospital here in Cedro-Woolley, just a couple miles, maybe a mile from here.
Yeah, it's not that far.
Yeah, so my parents lived on Prairie Lane off of Prairie Road at the time, and they actually they enjoy buying properties and building houses and making small farms out of them. So that was their second house that they had built on Prairie Lane. So they just loved that area. So yeah, that's where I came screaming into this world. Was over there.
Now, how did they get here? Were they born here?
No, neither of them were. So my mom was born in Seattle, but she was born to a family that moved around because her dad, my grandpa Mel, was in the military, in the Army specifically. So like he drove a tank across France in World War II in one of the furthest east penetrating battalions, right? Like just such an incredibly inspiring thing to think about, and has caused me to go really deep into World War II history and things like that. But that's, in and of itself. So anyway, so they moved around a lot. And my grandma was a bartender wherever they went. My grandma Ellen, who that's grandma's song was inspired by her.
Oh, right.
Grandma Ellen.
Yeah.
And in her passing, God rest her. But anyway, so my mom moved around a fair amount. My dad grew up in Portland area. And so they met in Portland. And my dad's family had roots down there and had been in one spot. And my Grandpa Bill, my dad's dad, worked at Bemis, which they make all kinds of things now, but I think they were best known for like burlap sacks originally. Like don't fact check me on that. I might
everything you say is true on here.
So anyway, so
you're the heir to a burlap sack fortune.
Maybe. So anyway, so my Grandpa Bill worked at the Bemis factory there, and he worked his way up from the floor to management, right? And meanwhile, my dad had gone to college and then not finished college and was kind of looking for something he was interested in. And my mom went out to dinner with my grandma Ellen to get to know Portland because they wanted to spend some special time together. And then my mom ended up meeting my dad on one of these times out that my mom had with my grandma. And she's like, that was the last time that your grandma and I went out for one of those dinners because once I met your dad, I wanted to go out to dinner with him. So they met in Portland, and I don't think they dated for super long before my brother came along. And so then, again, timelines, because it was so long before I arrived into this world, I'm not completely sure of. But basically, they ended up getting married, and they did this cool thing when they got married where nobody knew they were engaged yet, or they hadn't announced their engagement. So they invited everyone to a potluck, and everyone was imagining they were going to announce their engagement. And then they invited a priest, and
oh my gosh.
my dad's younger sister Paula was, I think, the maid of honor, and my namesake, his name's actually Chuck, Charles Matney, was best man, and they got married.
Wow.
And yeah. And then my dad was really interested in carpentry and home building, but his dad had gotten him a job at the Bemis factory, and he was going to be a factory man. My dad was working cranes at Bemis, and he didn't like it. So they came up to Anacortes. They just moved up here. They'd been up here for a visit to see some friends.
They just moved.
Yeah. They just
no job lined up. Just moved.
No, they just came up. And my dad went around knocking on doors, asking people if they needed a handyman, needed something done around the house. And whether or not he knew how to do it, he would just say that he did. And he would figure it out as he went.
Well, and this is before YouTube.
Right?
Good for him.
Yeah. So his early carpentry, home building skills was just because he was interested, and he'd work on whatever and he'd figure it out. And then eventually he got himself a job under a contractor who built really big homes, big fancy homes. And so I think that's where then he got a lot more of his home development knowledge. And so, yeah, my parents were both Northwest people, but neither of them grew up in this area or were born in this area.
Did they grow up on farms? Like, how did the farming come in?
Yeah. My great-grandparents on my mom's side had a big farm in North Dakota. But no, her parents, it was a little bit more moving around to where my grandpa Mel had work. So after the military, he was a steel worker. And so that meant moving around to where jobs were. He was also a diesel mechanic, I think, from working on the tanks, right? Is where he learned to do that. And so they'd move around. But my grandpa Mel helped build the Space Needle for the World's Fair.
Wow.
And the Astoria Bridge.
Wow.
Doing steel work.
That's cool.
Right? Yeah, he's just like this larger than life person who grew up on a farm in North Dakota. And so there was that interest and love of animals and the land and whatnot. And then in my dad's family, I know that there were farms. They just had a really nice big house. And the thing that I know about one of the houses my dad grew up in is that they call it the Fisk House. I think it was on like Fisk Road or something in Portland area. And so the development of farms, I think, came along from like my dad wanting to build houses and knowing how to do that and just wanting to start fresh and like design a thing. Like that's how he's a really creative person, and that's his way of expressing it. It's like designing and building. And then my mom has just been a forever horse girl, right? Like was the child that pined for horses, but they were always living in like cities or areas where she couldn't quite have one. And so when she was finally old enough to do something like that, it sounds like she had bugged her parents enough, and she'd ridden my grandma Ellen's horse that was still alive back on the North Dakota farm named Silver. So the kids would like, my mom and her siblings would go back to the farm in the summer and like stay for a while. So there was this one horse there that like was by herself in this huge pasture. And so they'd spend like all day trying to catch her. And then when they did finally catch her and get on her back, she'd like ride him by a tree and scrape him off kind of horse. You know, she was like not easy, but they just loved it. I think it was mostly my mom and her older sister, Gail, my auntie Gail. Who'd go do that. And so that was kind of where my mom got started loving horses.
So she told your dad, like, we need to have a pasture. I need to have a horse.
I think, yeah. And at that point, right, buying land and developing land was just a lot more accessible.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right. And so that's what they did, right? That was their way of connecting. And I think by the time they got together, my mom had a couple horses when she was a kid. Like, I think the first horse was maybe bought by my grandpa Mel from some guy at the bar kind of thing. Like, not very well thought out situation.
He won it in a poker bet.
Maybe, right? And it sounds like that horse was kind of intense and sort of a lot. And so they sold that horse and they got another one. And so she ended up, you know, Brandy was the horse that she had for the longest. And Brandy helped her, like, she participated in 4-H. She ended up trying her hand at doing, she entered a competition, like a rodeo queen competition. I think it was in, I can't remember the area that it was in at this moment, but she entered this competition. Maybe they were in like Scappoose area at the time.
Where's that? North Dakota?
No.
Oh.
Scappoose is southern Washington.
Oh, okay.
I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, don't quote me on that. I remember song lyrics so well, but like dates of things and exact locations are not my strong point. So she ended up entering this rodeo queen competition with her horse. And I think it was because they didn't have enough competitors to make it go, right? So nobody expected her to like do well. But then she ended up becoming a princess.
Oh, wow.
Like she did so well in it. She was part of the royalty. And so she like did this whole rodeo princess thing too. Like, you know, just really leaned into that. And so growing up looking at photos of her doing that, and she kept her like polyester Western outfit and like this lime green cowboy hat.
Lime
And,
green.
you know, yeah, or like this really bright green, you know, that was popular back then. And, like big collared Western shirt. And so I grew up like looking at all of that and just being like, oh my gosh, the coolest. So I think, yeah, by the time that she met my dad, her dream of having horses, right, then could happen because he was interested in the home development and she's interested in the farm development. And then, ta-da, then you come up here to the Northwest. And they told me stories about when they first moved to Cedar Woolley area, you could drive on I-5 from like Mount Vernon to Seattle and barely see a car sometimes.
Really?
Right? It was like that quiet.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe it's like Mount Vernon and Arlington or something.
Yeah.
Right. But just that this was so far out for so many people and it was such a quiet area back then.
Yeah.
Certainly as it grows and as like, you know, companies like Janicki build a lot of places for people to come in
Up
and
in
work
Hamilton?
and all of
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
my folks definitely talk about that kind of old timer like, oh man, it's getting really busy. All the traffic going down Highway 20, you know?
When I first moved here, I moved to South Everett. So I met
Okay.
Olive's dad in South Korea. And then he came back first, then I came back. And I was going to just live here and then get a K-1 visa, the 90-day fiance visa. We're going to get married. Well, you can't do that. You have to apply before you come in. So I have a whole story about getting denied at the border a couple times. It was really bad. Anyway,
Wow.
but we lived in Everett for a couple of years. Then we also lived in Edmonds. And at one point, we go to Canada to see my family. And I remember driving through Mount Vernon. I'm like, who lives here? Like, what is this place, right? We're just on the I-5.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Mount Vernon because we couldn't afford anything in Everett. We couldn't even afford anything at the time. We definitely couldn't afford anything now, back then. And so we moved to Mount Vernon. And then I remember one day we were driving out east. I think we were out at Burnsview probably. I remember driving through Lyman going, maybe even Cedar Woolley. I was like, who lives here? There's nothing here. Where do these people work? I'm just blown away. And then we moved to Cedar Woolley. We lived on Minkler for, a few years. We had a farm. And I always joke because then I started hanging out in Concrete,
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't say who would live in Concrete because I'm going to eventually move there. So now we're back in town. And I don't mind it. My biggest thing was I was just worried about just getting really loud neighbors, because I liked how quiet it was on Minkler. We had 5 acres. And I tell people, I'm like, yeah, we have really great neighbors. They're not loud at all. And then I made this realization, we're the loud ones. Oops. So we haven't had any complaints yet. I was going to ask, you mentioned you have an older brother.
Yeah.
What's the age difference?
11 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. So he was born in Portland. And then were you born in Anacortes?
Cedro.
Oh, so they lived in Anacortes for a few years, your parents?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A period of time.
Then they saw the area and realized Cedro was a better fit. Yeah. And then you were born there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just the two of you?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess you wouldn't really have that close childhood with him because he's so much older.
Yeah.
He was your babysitter.
In a lot of ways, right? Yeah.
Right? Was he also into farming and horses and all that?
Mom said that he showed a little bit of interest in horses at a younger age, but then as soon as he could handle a motorcycle, he was more into that, right?
Yeah,
like
he's like, "I'm outta here."
4-wheeler, 3-wheeler. So more into that. And then very big into sports.
Yeah.
Big soccer player.
Yeah. And so did you go through the Cedar Woolley school system?
So let's see. So we were in the Cedro house, and then the property that my parents bought after that to develop was in Burlington. And so it was on Pulver Road, I-5 Outer World, right? So it was on that section of Pulver, just west of there. And the house is still there. It's been remodeled a little bit, and the property is a little different, but they had 14 acres out there. And I think it was like maybe 5 of them that were developed, and then they rented out the rest to farmers because that's the heart of that kind of farmland, right? So Noel ended up going I think he was in Burlington School District at one point, but then he ended up going to Mount Vernon High School. And so I started off when I was going to school. I went to Bayview. I think we were in Bayview District, right? So I started off in Bayview, and then time came for my parents to want to buy another property. And so then they bought a spot in Conway. So do you know 534 between Conway and Lake McMurray?
Yes.
Yeah, because that connects I-5 to Highway 9.
Yeah.
So they bought a 7-acre piece along 534 that was, raw land. And at that point, I was in it. I was at Bayview for 3rd grade and then started school at Conway in 4th grade. So that young while they developed that property. And so then when you go to school in Conway, you get the opportunity, at least at that point in time, to choose between several high schools that are kind of equidistant. So it sort of depends on your parents and who your friends are and things like that. So I chose to go to Mount Vernon because my brother had gone there. And also it was the largest. And Conway being a smaller school, there's very tight social system that since I came to school later, I showed up in 4th grade, it's always kind of on the fringe of the social circle. So then, that interest in going to a bigger high school really paid off because then there's just so many more social groups to interact with.
And electives,
Right.
too.
Yeah, just a lot to do.
Yeah.
So I ended up having friends that went to Cedro and knowing kids that went to other high schools because they had gone to Conway, right? So I've just grown up around Skagit, essentially, right? And ended up knowing a lot of the countryside and back roads and whatnot from horses and 4-H and driving around with my mom when she was working with horses and then, having friends all around. And so I've also always had an interest in music.
I was going to say, so how did you go from a passion for just horses to music? Did you start doing music in school?
Yes. Yep. And my parents are musical enthusiasts, right? Like my mom sang in a band when she was younger.
Oh, she did?
And and they did covers and she loved it. And, my dad always had a guitar around the house. And
Were they always playing music at home?
Yeah.
Like what kind of music?
Some of my earliest musical memories are Jackson Browne and Bonnie Raitt. Right. And I remember them, it was a big deal that they had a date night and went to a Jackson Browne concert.
Oh.
Right. Like, I think maybe at the Paramount or something. It was like a really big deal. There was a babysitter and everything.
Nice.
Yeah. And my dad had a record collection or they had one together. That I just remember staring at, like taking out the records and just staring at the covers and being so fascinated by the art and like, oh, can I please listen? And, oh, you got to be real careful how you handle these. And, so, so
What did you play in band in school? Was it 6th grade? 5th grade?
I think it was 6th grade when the instruments came in. Prior to that, though, I was the weird kid at school who would write songs at home and bring them to the choir director, like 1st grade.
1st grade?
Mm-hmm. Songs about my
gosh.
Songs about my pony and about like my dog and what my cat likes. And so that's when I was going to Bayview. And I remember singing things for the choir director, and I don't really remember his response because I was just so young, But I remember being so excited to like take it to him. And my folks heard about my singing actually from a neighbor. Like they didn't realize what was happening because the neighbor one day when we were living in Burlington, so we have that 14-acre farm. So I'm like riding my pony around out in the pasture, and that's what my parents can see. But meanwhile, the neighbors can hear me singing at the top of my lungs. Because the neighbor at one time to them was like, your daughter has a great voice. And they're like, how do you know that? Oh, we hear her singing on her pony all the time. Don't you guys? And they're like, no, the sound must carry right
that's
that way.
awesome.
Yeah. So I was also the kid that sang the national anthem at like every school event for as long as I can remember. Yeah, I was that kid. So I think I got put up in front of people before I really knew that it was something to be afraid about, right? And then from there, I think by the time I was a teenager and the pressures of the world begin to creep in on your brain and your confidence, I think I just had enough positive experiences to lean on to go ahead and still do it.
To block out those voices.
Yeah. And I still have them to this day as an adult, but I like have enough times where it went well also that I can say, oh yeah, I did that. I can do this, For instance, an earlier thing that I did, I think I was maybe 11 at the time, is I got the opportunity to sing at the Cedar Woolley Rodeo. And the reason was they had someone to sing the national anthem, but he refused to sing the Canadian national anthem. Like, he didn't want to learn it. He's like, I don't know it. I don't want to learn it.
Who's this
thing.
guy? Give me his
I
name.
have no idea.
I'm just kidding.
I just remember that he had long hair and he was kind of a rockin' dude,
Like, he wasn't like, oh, I don't know it. He's like, I refuse to learn it.
I mean, that's what I remember. Again,
Okay. Wait,
as
did
like
you
a
sing
little
the-
11-year-old, I sang the Canadian national
But like,
anthem.
was it just the English one? Because now they do half English, half French.
Oh,
Was it just English?
Just English at the time.
See, that's rude. If you're listening, guy, I like you. So you sang the Canadian anthem.
I did. I learned it. I learned it. The choir director at the time at the school helped me learn it. I remember, working on it with the piano and getting the melody down, and I just remember holding the microphone and looking at the crowd, right? Just being like, what? This is terrifying, but I did it. Somehow I did it.
That's awesome.
And so I think that kind of sums up my performance style in a way, right? Is that I just started doing it even though I was scared.
Yeah.
And now it's to a point where I'm more familiar with the performance anxiety I'm going to have. And I'm just kind of like, all right, yeah, I'm nervous, whatever. I'm nervous every time. Right?
I think that's important for young musicians to hear, because I think a lot of times they'll go, oh, I'm way too anxious to get up on stage, because they see a really great musician up there and they think, well, they obviously have never felt what I feel. Forrest Stoke was on here. Well, same Zach. I keep calling him Forrest. Zach was on here, and he was in Cuenca for several years, and then he started doing solo stuff literally 2 years ago. And he said, I had never done it because I was scared to death.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I could do it. He goes, I actually got a gig a couple of years ago, my first one, and I paid my brother to join me because I didn't think I could do it. And he's like, but I did it. And it was okay. And now, you would never look at him and think that guy is nervous, Mm-hmm. So I think that's important for people to say yeah, I'm scared shitless, but I'm going to do it anyway because I survived the last 100 times.
My mom tells a story about how the first choir concert that happened, I was so excited about it, right? Oh my gosh, my first ever choir concert, little first grade matinee, so stoked. But that this is the part I don't remember. I guess I didn't actually sing because I was getting sick in the bathroom the whole time.
Oh my gosh, really?
I have no recollection.
Wow.
Right? So I think I just blacked it out. And they got me singing right afterwards again. And somehow I was singing the national anthem. And, anyway. Yeah, so there's the voice. And then, fast forward to at Conway School. And, yeah, there's a choir program. And I'm singing in that. But then 6th grade rolls around. Oh, it's instrument time. Well, I'm riding horses in 4-H. Big part, it's a big part of my mom's life and thing we do together. Meanwhile, with my brother being a sports guy, my dad's really into sports. So I'm playing soccer and volleyball and basketball.
Wow.
And I'm a tall girl. Now that we're all adults, it's not as obvious. But I got most of my height at a very young age. So I was very pushed into athleticism, which was so fun at the time until high school. But anyway. So then band comes around, And I bet I like, Mom and Dad, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to learn an instrument. What instrument are you guys going to rent for me? And like, I can't wait. And they're like, are you kidding me? You're doing so many things. When are you going to have time for homework? No, absolutely not. So I'm heartbroken. Everyone else is in band. So I go to the band director one day, probably crying. I don't remember because I am an easy crier. So it doesn't take much.
You blacked out. You puked everywhere.
Right? But I tell her my conundrum, right? I'm like, what do I do? I'm too busy and my parents are so supportive of me doing so many things. And all I want to do is play band now because it's the one thing they told me I can't do.
And she played a tiny violin for you.
She's like, listen, I think I have an instrument for you. You have to ask your parents' permission, but there's this trumpet and it will be $5 for you to rent it for the whole year. So if they'll let you rent it, let me know. That trumpet is yours. So this thing was dented and banged up and it stank so bad. And, you know, brass players will know what I'm talking about. Like,
I play trumpet.
Okay, yeah. Like they, you know that smell they get when
I would
they haven't
never
been
use
cleaned?
a used trumpet.
This thing was gross. But I took it home and you know, my parents were like, okay, we'll pay the $5. But as soon as you get stressed out because you're too busy, band is out.
You puke one time.
But I was section leader the whole time. I have that ear. I have the ear thing. And so I could just hear what we were supposed to be playing and play it without really trying. Right. And so I think that's where the singing benefited me, is I just like knew. And of course you figure out how to sight read and this and that and like know what the notes are, but more so I could hear a melody and just know what it was supposed to sound like and know if a note was off and know how to like play, right? Without trying too hard. So after 1 year with that banged up trumpet, my folks made the investment of a nice one. And I still have that trumpet actually.
Oh, nice.
And I was greatly humbled about a year ago when I was like, I want to do some recording on this trumpet. I'm just going to pick it up and like see how I sound. Have you had this experience of like how hard getting embouchure back is? Holy cow.
I picked up a pop song trumpet book from Hugo's and I was playing songs and I recorded, oh gosh, what was it? Chasing Cars by Snow Patrol. Nice. And I sent it to Wes and Charlie and Clay in our group chat. And I was like, guys, guess the song. And they were like, what the fuck? Like all of them were like, this is garbage. What are you playing for us? I'm like, it's Snow Patrol. Yes, I practice. I've been better at practicing. I'm just working on scales right now, but it's 5 minutes. I can't go longer. So I have to like slowly build up. Yeah. It's worse than getting back into running. I can't believe how hard it is.
I was so humbled.
Yeah.
Like I picked it up and I go to make a noise and just no noise comes out. And I'm like, I played this trumpet so much. Like, what is happening? Meanwhile, my cats are freaking out when I do finally make a noise because the noise is so loud and terrible that they're like running around the house. I'm like, I'm sorry, you guys. I just thought that I could record like a couple notes on this trumpet without playing it for so long. And actually, I would have to practice. So I admire you spending the time. And I was so humbled. The other person I have to thank for just like getting me singing is actually my mom, because before I knew what was happening, when we were driving around in the car, she would always sing to the radio and she was always singing a harmony. And so I somehow like hearing what she was singing, like, I don't know how I figured it out, but I ended up always singing a third part to her just at a really young age. Right. So driving to and from school, horse shows, whatever, we were just always singing constantly. So again, when it came to choir and harmonizing, I could tell what was going on the page and where I was supposed to be as far as how high or how low, but I didn't have to try very hard to hit notes. I could just kind of hear a harmony and go for it. So the choir director ended up plugging me in with the tenor section. And I was an alto, but sang a lot of soprano too, because he was kind of like whenever there was a weak spot in a song in the choir, He was just like, cool, Matney. Oh, can you actually go back to the tenor? Oh, so,
You're
right.
the only one like
I
moving
was
around.
kind of, that's what I remember. I mean, I was a teenager and very, centered on myself as teenagers are, but that's what I remember. And then too, there ends up being solos and songs, and I just ate it up. So if any other kid wanted a solo, of course, I would back down and be like, whatever. But whenever there's a solo that nobody wanted, I was like, yeah, let me try this soprano solo on. Let me try this tenor solo on, just like whatever I could get. So that was really rad. And I'm grateful for that because it made it so that by the time I was in my, late teens, early 20s, and then around people who are playing music, like that's what I had enough of a voice to join my first band, for instance, from that choir experience. And actually, I went to school with Zach and his younger brother.
Oh, Nate?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
Cool.
Miranda Zickler.
Yes.
Like I was really good friends with her older sister, Colleen.
Wow.
And so, yeah. And actually, when I was first getting going solo and looking for a backup band, I'm not sure how Zach and I got connected musically. It might have been through Kyle Finleymeyer. But anyway, Zach and I had played some music together. And so he came and played some guitar. And that was before Bright Rabbit, which was like the first iteration of...
The first name of Coinka's.
Yeah. Yeah.
He told the whole story on the podcast.
Awesome.
The lawsuit, everything.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'll have to listen to it because, of course, we all heard about it, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So yeah.
That's so cool.
Go way
Wow.
back with those guys too.
Yeah.
And like Chris Eager and I were in jazz choir at the same time.
Oh, so he's from Mount Vernon too.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And we even did a duet together. I remember at one of the choir concerts, Chris Eager and I doing this duet, and I was so excited. And yeah, it was really fun.
That's
I
cool.
loved it.
Yeah.
And so I think that feeling that got going in those choir times is actually part of what gave me such an interest in being in a band and collaborating. Is because it's fun and everything to sing by yourself. Like that has its own allure. And obviously I enjoy that too. But there's something so magical about a blend of voices and a blend of sounds that you just can't get unless you're working with people.
Yeah.
Like there's no other way.
Have you heard of Bellingham Helps Access Music, a nonprofit that Michael Perkins started in Bellingham?
I think I've seen it online.
Yeah,
Yes.
he talked about how, he's from Oak Harbor and he's like, there was nothing to do. So he just would like convince his friends to like, hey, like let's make a band, And I think about like Olive and her friends. I'm thankfully like plugged in. So like if anyone shows any interest in like, get over here, we'll start a band, And Clay and Wes started Swamp and Cedar Woolley, and then there's the Anacortes Music Project. I'm just thinking, like, when you were, just out of high school, like, how did you transfer from, like, Matney's in a choir to, like, how do you start a band back then when there weren't really a lot of, or were there places, and maybe they're not around anymore in the area? Like, how did you connect with people to, like, make a band?
Yeah. My way was that one of my first jobs was at the Skagit Valley Food Co-op in the deli. So I met people through there that were musical.
Oh, yeah, like your coworkers?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And ended up hanging out at people's house. And I think, the first band that I was in, which I think it was first the Don Huxtable Project was the name. And then we were the Nova Prospect.
Those are some good names.
It was like very heavy music, real heavy, like so loud. And then there was me, and I'm pretty sure every time we played a show, the main feedback I got is that nobody could hear me sing because the band was so loud. But it was rad. We have a recording floating around out there somewhere. It was before you would put your stuff online, though, right? So there's like, I think probably just CDs.
So where would you play?
Mostly at my boyfriend at the time and lead guitar player's house,
Oh, okay.
which he lived with the cellist that we played with. And so it would be in the garage, right? And we'd have like, when we would do like a demo or whatever, one microphone like from the ceiling to try to catch all the sounds. And yeah, so it was one of those things where like it wasn't what my voice was best suited for, right? Like I remember as a band, they would expose me to a lot of heavier groups, and the vocalist there, and like women who were kind of growly, screamy, a lot more intense than I was at the time. And I remember being like, yeah, this is cool. This sounds cool. I'm like, I can't sing like
cool.
that.
I love this stuff.
Can't sing like
Have
that.
you guys heard of Bonnie Raitt? She's awesome.
Totally. Meanwhile, they all have the distortion pedals called big muffs. And, it's like as being dark and heavy as possible. And so, I did it and I sang that and that happened.
It's like your first marriage. You got to get out of the way.
Exactly. It was kind of, I did, right? Dating the guitar player, right? Like,
get those out of the way.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, and we played an event. And now I'm having trouble remembering. Scumfest was what it was called. And it was Skagit County Underground Music Scum.
I feel like someone's mentioned that before.
Scumfest.
Yes.
Yeah, we played a Scumfest, and it was at this building down at the end of the revetment in Mount Vernon. I'm not sure if it was like an Eagles club or something like that, but a big old hall. So yeah, we played Scumfest with bands like Fetus Joe and
they're
just
back.
all the,
They're back.
Yeah, I've seen that. I want to connect with Daniel because I went to high school.
Oh, no
with
way.
those guys too. I was younger.
When I wrote them, I said, I haven't really seen you guys around too much, but I'm seeing you quite a bit. Are you from here? Like, what's your story? He's like, yeah, we haven't really played much since 2001. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I took a bit of a break. Yeah, but they're back. So
it's rad.
Yeah.
Those guys are cool.
That's awesome.
I remember them always being really friendly and kind and inclusive.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I think there was this group of people that would get shows together and play, but it was very sparse. Like we mostly rehearsed. We did one recording. I think there was a battle of bands we were going to do, but then me and the guitar player broke up shortly beforehand.
Oh.
So, drama ensued after that. But yeah, that first band experience was purely like I was at their house. They were having a rehearsal. I think I just started singing. And I was kind of like, you guys don't mind, do you? And they're like, whoa, you're just making that up on the spot? Like, whoa, can you like do that some more? Yeah, I mean, I'm scared. Like, what? You want me to sing? Okay, sure. So,
but maybe being in those bands, you realized, oh, now I know what I want in a band. Like now I know what style of music best suits me to play live and all that stuff. Yeah,
you got it. Very informative learning experience in many ways, and
it's not a mistake. It's a very informative learning experience.
Yes. And now when I recover that stuff and I like play it for my friends, it's such a like. Oh my God, just like, can you even believe it? Because too, there's, with getting into recording as you are, there's just playing live, and then there's being a studio musician, and then there's being a songwriter, and there's sometimes a blend of those three things, sometimes not, right? Sometimes you have a strength in one vein, and you find that out, and you lean into that for a while, and so anyway, yeah, it's like, when I first started, I loved to sing and songwrite, but when it came to being a studio musician or a performer, I just I didn't know. I didn't have my voice that way.
Yeah.
And I really feel like even in the past, I don't know, 6 years or so, probably like since Nobody's Peach has been a thing, just like this thing to come back to. Right? This thing that is uniquely mine that I don't really have to try for. anymore or look for as much, and more like playing around with the shape of it is what's happening now. But again, I've been at it for, if I was like 15 or so when I started playing guitar, and now I am 38 years old, almost 39. Like, that's a long time to be doing it, and the not stopping, right? I remember early times getting a lot of that, like, that sounds good, like, just don't stop kind of thing, right? And now I get that. And when I speak to people who are just getting started playing music or whatever, I give them a lot of that too. Because I remember at the time being, just incredibly intimidated and reaching for something and playing around with the thing and not really knowing if I liked it very much. But then if other people didn't say it was terrible, I was like, okay, well, maybe I can set my judgment aside for a moment. If somebody else likes it, maybe it's not just about me, And it turns out it's not. And that is sort of one of the ways that I was able to get under my self-criticism that at times could be even debilitating, right?
Yeah. I know we were talking about recording some Pretty Much Nothing songs, or maybe we were talking about Pretty Much Nothing playing live, and I said, hey, you haven't played like this one song in a while. And Miguel's like, I just want to play these new ones. Like, what about your fans? Like, don't we get a say in it? So that was why I told him too. I said, this is why you have to record. Yeah. Record all those old songs that you don't want to play anymore so we can enjoy them.
Yes. Yes. Archive.
Yes.
Archive, right?
Because you never know.
No. And that was a part of my last solo album that I did. As a lot of it was archival songs that I played for so long, and I've kept them alive, but they haven't ever really fit in a band. Played them so much solo. They have, all this history behind them. And I just really wanted to archive them. I wanted to get them down. I wanted to like give them a life of their own and memorialize them. Because, there ends up being that, like, sometimes the song feels a little bit like a balloon that you're holding onto the string of. And each time you play it, you're like grabbing that string, right? You're keeping that string. But sometimes if you don't play it for a while, it's like floats out of your brain forever.
And does it also create more like space then? Like you release those songs, now you have more space to like write new songs.
Yes. Yeah.
Like mental space and emotional space or whatever,
For sure, for me. Yeah. And that there's like attending this creative process of it, building it, and what's it going to be like, and what's the form, and what does it sound when you record it, and how you perform, and this and that. And it's so true that once there's a version out, to me now, there's a sense of relief, like, oh, awesome. Okay. I can put my focus to all this new stuff, because I also am somebody that, like, I always got actually like 15 or more that I'm like so excited about. And so my focus will go to those, but then it's like, oh, wait, but what about this song over here that's so old and like, sad. But then, I don't know. Then they end up getting their time to shine.
Yeah. So after those two bands you started with, what was your next progression?
Yeah, let's see. Okay, yeah. So there was those, and then kind of a dip in music, and then dated somebody else who was a drummer. And so then I actually went to elementary and middle school with him, and he was connected with a lot of guys like Kyle Finleymeyer, who Kyle is now living in Portugal.
Oh.
But he's, born and raised Skagit guy, who was living in Cedro for a little while. And anyway, so Kyle and I are dear, dear friends.
Was he in like a big local band here?
The Sky Colony.
Oh, I've never heard of them.
Well, do I have a treat for you? I have one of their CDs in my OGS merch box that you can have and listen to and enjoy. His music is amazing. And so anyway, Shaler was the name of my boyfriend at the time. And so he would have these jams at his house, and Kyle would come, and a bunch of his other friends would come, and everyone would just play. So that was cool. That was like the first time that I had jammed in a big group like that. And they had all played together since they were kids. So they had this real easy kind of flow in and out. someone plays an instrument for a while, they take a break, they switch an instrument. And I was pretty shy at playing guitar in front of people still. Like, I've had to work really hard at being a guitar player, and I still continually work really hard. So anyway, so I wasn't really playing guitar much in front of the guys yet, but I would sing here and there and like play a little, percussion instrument. And I just really noticed that when Kyle would bring in one of his songs, I loved the sound of it and the vibe, and I would harmonize with him, and it felt really good and was easy to snap in. And so then there was a point when I was like, hey, would you want to meet just the two of us and like play some songs? I have some songs I'm working on that I feel like you could add something cool to. And he's like, sure. And so then we ended up doing it, and it was so fun. And so we started a duo called the Friendly Lions.
Oh.
So that was our way of like being brave enough to play our original music, was that we had each other, right? And so I brought songs, he brought songs. We each added to. And one of the first places we ever performed was the Conway Muse, now the Arcadian Public House, back when they first started as a venue. I made that changeover. So yeah, it was really formative for me and Kyle. And that life, caused us to go other directions and still stay connected as friends. But he ended up meeting a new friend in Ben Meyer, who he plays still as Tender Piles Smile Isle. He has that band.
I've heard them, yeah.
Yeah. Ben's so rad, and he has a lovely family. But anyway, so he started playing with Ben and writing songs with Ben, and like I went and did some traveling, and I had started to play more open mics because I wanted to play, but I was a little sad that Kyle had gone a different way, but I was like, but I still want to play my thing. And so actually it was like going to the open mics that led me to meet Jeff Lacey, who is still a dear friend of mine, who he has a studio on Fruitdale called Seeking Sound Studios.
Oh, cool.
That I'd love to connect you with Jeff. I was playing at an open mic, and I had recently been to Europe and bought a guitar over there and had some like really incredible experiences playing music abroad, just meeting people and stuff. So I came back, I was playing this open mic, and I think Jeff overheard me say something about like, oh, I'd really like to record, but I don't have any equipment. I don't have any experience. And he's like, and he had worked at the Skagit Valley Food Co-op too. So we had like met through that. I knew he was a musician. Anyway, so he's like, hey, I have all this recording equipment and I want to record, and I practiced on myself, and I can just really use somebody else to practice on. What do you say? I'm like, sure. Okay. Like, so that's what we did. I would like go to his house, and he would set up his mic in different spaces in this room that he had soundproofed, and just play around with levels and this and that. And when he got a good sense for it, he came to my parents' house in Conway, actually, and set up all his equipment in the front room and recorded every song that I had written at the time.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Oh, so you didn't really have a studio space.
no.
You just had the
not that
equipment.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but he was hungry for it, right? And so every place that he's lived since then has had some room that could be his, right? That he could soundboard and like put all his equipment in. And so he's worked really hard and come a long way to have like, an external building that he built very specifically, like multiple layers of sheetrock and insulation and, double doors on things to prevent sound from getting through. And him and I playing together, he liked my songs, and he would like sometimes add an instrument to it. And I was like, wow, I really like what you're doing there. That's cool. And I think at some point he was kind of like, can I just put drums on all your songs? And I was like, okay, I haven't heard my songs with drums. That sounds interesting. Meanwhile, I was seeing people, like going to shows and seeing people perform that were incredible at leading a band. Like, I think one of the main people that stands out that was very influential on me initially was Robert Blake. Like, there was a winter where he had a residency at the Green Frog.
Pete Rubel was just talking about the food there. They had grilled cheese.
The grilled cheeses with the cello. Big old chelos.
Yep.
Yep. And there's a point in the night where when you went to get a beer or a drink from the bar, rather, you would get a piece of bacon.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's like midnight or something, right? It was just like everybody walks away from the bar with a piece of bacon. Yep. That was fun. It was like, everyone's been drinking for a while. Here's your bacon. Yeah. So Robert had this residency. I had been through some breakup of some kind. And then a dear friend, Jody Buller, who's really, pivotal in a lot of ways for a lot of events, including the String Band Jamboree. She's like really involved in the volunteering side, I believe. Anyway, Jody's amazing. She would be a fun person for you to interview. Now that I say her name out loud, she's like such a rad human being and a writer and does a lot of cool behind the scenes stuff for events and just is an incredible person. So I'll do that plug. Jody, come be on this podcast. So she was going up to his shows, and I think she could tell I was going through a hard time. And so she would reach out and kind of being like, do you want to come with me to see Robert this week? And so just watching him do that thing that really good band leaders do, where he'd just be presenting an incredible performance of a song and then glance over at someone and they start playing right at the perfect time, right? And then he like moves in a certain way and everyone gets real quiet. And, he just like, it's such mastery. And this was even so long ago, right? Like he's just an incredible performer and can put together such an amazing band behind him. So yeah, that was like that. And then many other incredible, talented people are what gave me that interest in figuring out how to be in a band. Because from playing solo, it's just a completely different way to play. And yet I love it. I really can't get enough of it. And now I think it probably is just going to get better and more awesome all the time, which I love saying that. But definitely Nobody's Peach feels like such an incredible fit for me in so many ways because of how well we all flow together just as human beings, right? Like we get along so well. We're great friends. We have common interests outside of music. And then when it comes to music, our styles just like go.
Yeah.
It's not, and we can all give each other that necessary feedback of hey, have you thought about maybe changing that one? Because I notice it's like kind of repetitive or whatever, right? That has to come, at least for me, it has to come along with it. Like, give me some honest feedback.
Yeah.
If I'm playing something that doesn't sound right, please tell me because I don't want to make it awkward. And I'm just trying to throw a thing on here and like, maybe it's not the thing the song needs. We did the recording thing. He's like, can I play some drums? We were having such a fun time playing music together. And then it's like, oh, well, what if we find a bass player? And so then we did. And this great guy named Kevin Olney that I met through friends. And he had played music with Bob Paltrow. Yeah, so I met Kevin and thought he was rad. And he came playing with us. And then we gave ourselves the name the Mud Flat Walkers.
Oh.
So that was the first band that I led. And it was rad. I was also not as mature and as effective of a communicator. And so that had its challenges.
It was a very informative learning experience.
There we go. Yeah. That because I was leading it, I had a lot more say in what the sound was. And Jeff was definitely supportive of it and had inputs on what, and same with Kevin. Right. But it was more clearly like my thing that they were along in, but I was doing all the booking and the rehearsal, scheduling, and all the things for it. So that was the Mud Flat Walkers. And it was rad.
How long did you guys do that for?
I think it was a couple years that we played and performed a lot around Bellingham mostly. And it was so cool. Like we had this rad album release party up at the Bellingham Circus Guild. And it was for our, most complete sounding album. Like we did a initial album, but if you listen to them side by side, it's like we're just learning how to record and figure things out. And we worked at a really rad studio in Index that I met the owner of that studio through Horse Friends in like Gold Bar area and whatnot. So we went up to this state of the line, amazing studio that I think Soundgarden had recorded there at one point. Like incredible spot. For our second album, Sky Valley High, which has some songs that I'm still so proud of, like really came together well. It was at the Bellingham Circus Guild, and I prepared my horse at the time, Mike, and ended up having a sort of like carnival theme for the whole event. And we like rented carnival games, and we started off our set with me riding Mike into the Circus Guild building. And, you know, I can always talk a lot more about horses at some point, but for anyone who's like been around horses or knows much about horses, like they're incredibly sensitive creatures, and you can do a lot to prepare them for instances, but there's kind of nothing like the moment of, right? And so I rode him around farmers markets and stuff to prepare him. The Woolly Farmers Market I brought him to once, and there was one called the Bo Little Market that I rode him around at, and I would hold my guitar and sing, and like my mom would lead him and kind of just get him used to like people and sound and this and that, and he did really well. And he was like very well trained older horse. But yeah, I'll never forget the way he felt as I rode into the Circus Guild, where I like have my guitar and I have a microphone on, and I'm like thinking I'm going to perform a whole song sitting on him. And we had put out a bunch of straw bales in a half circle, thinking that people would be behind it. But there were so many people in the building, they had sat on the straw bales and in front of it. And horses are so spatially sensitive and aware that Mike just like felt the vibe of the room. And I remember him just kind of like every muscle in his body underneath me tensing, and me just riding into the building. And I was like, "Hello, everyone. This is Mike, and we are leaving. You'll see me." I just knew he couldn't stand still, right? He just had this like, I was like, "Oh, we are not stopping. I'm just turning around before he like runs out." Without me, you know? Anyway, but it was still really rad, and one of the probably coolest performance experiences I've ever had, where like my horse life crossed over, right? There's these points when, and it's always like a little bit of a goal of mine. It seems like you're maybe like this too. I love knowing groups of people and then having these points where worlds collide.
Oh, for sure.
And so I got burnt out and put a pause on that, and still great friends with them. But meanwhile, I met these guys in this rad band called Moongrass, and they were just also rad and friendly, and I loved their music too. And so ended up being in a backing band with one of the guys that was in Moongrass when they ended up breaking up, Willie Rivas. So it was Willie Rivas and his Weary Boys. That's how I got to be such good friends and also music collaborators with Taylor and Tom of Nobody's Peach.
Oh, okay.
They were in Moongrass. They were in the Weary Band. And the start of Nobody's Peach was in 2018. I got asked if I could put together a band for a fundraiser at a ranch in Easter Washington called Oconee Ranch, which is the inspiration for the Oconee Waltz on my solo album. That Jody Buller introduced me to Oconee Ranch as well for like horse work and music.
That's awesome.
And anyway, Oconee Ranch is
all
really
connected,
an amazing place. But yeah, so I get asked, "Hey, could you put together a band for our annual fundraiser called the Barbed Wire Ball?" I was like, "Sure, I know some guys. Let me see what I can do." So I call up some Weary Band friends, Taylor and Tom among them. I'm like, "I know this is kind of crazy, but do you guys want to drive for 5 hours to go play a show at this really rad off-grid ranch with me?" And they were into it. And it was so fun. It was like, let's keep playing. And so at that fundraiser, we were Matney and the Tall Boys because, you know, we needed a name at the time.
Yeah.
But then it ended up being a lot more collaborative between Taylor and I. And I was like, I'm not I'm happy to do a lot of the coordination and booking and managing because that's just kind of my Capricorn side. Like of creatives, I'm more organized than others. So I can do that stuff. And Nobody's Peach was just the one that stuck, that we're all like, yeah, no, we don't want to be pinned down into a genre. We want to be able to play whatever we feel like doing. But we definitely all have a country western thing that we appreciate. And so we want to have that in the name a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
How did you get the other members?
Well, let's see. So Taylor and Tom were in the initial formation. And then Ted came in later because, so as Nobody's Peach lore goes, we had our band and we were having so much fun and we recorded our first album. And then during recording of that album, Tom and a prior member named Cole both made the choice to move out of state to go be with the loves of their lives. So, given that I had met Vance and was dating him and experiencing that, like, strong connection, was like, well, of course, you guys, like, go do your thing. Go forth and be in love kind of thing. So, thought Nobody's Peach was done, after just, like, a year or so of doing it. But Taylor and I stayed friends, and we even, during COVID, decided to be in each other's bubble and did some live streams, and we called it Songs Between Friends. And it was just sit down, play songs, talk about the stories of the songs. And so Taylor and I kept playing and just got to be closer and closer friends, closer and closer musically, which has added even more to our collaboration and sort of this like Nobody's Peach songwriting style instead of a Taylor song or a Matney song, which is really exciting because that's first for me too. So anyway, so then Tom moved back and he wanted to be in the band. Yay. And it was like, okay, maybe Nobody's Peach is coming back. And so then the three of us were playing and we're like, well, who's our drummer? And, you know, Jeff, I thought of Jeff, but he's like really busy being a dad and like building a studio and this and that. And so I think I like post-COVID, one of my first live shows is at Tim's Tavern at its old location in like the Greenwood area. And so I'm promoting it online, and our drummer, Ted, who I went to high school with, who was also always playing in bands, and we like knew each other and were friends, but lost touch. He sees that I'm playing a show and decides to go to it. And so that's how Ted and I reconnected.
Oh, great.
And I go to, I hear somebody's like heckling me really loudly from the crowd. And I'm like, who is that guy? Right? Like, what's going on out there? And after I get off stage, he comes up to me and it's like, holy shit, like, how's it going? And so good to see you. And I introduced him to my husband. And this is, a very Ted moment when he's like, oh my gosh, Vance, it's so nice to meet you. I had the biggest crush on your wife in high school. I'm like, okay.
That's so funny.
Anyway, because he's loud. He's out there. He's the hype guy. Love that about him. So we invited him to play a show with Nobody's Peach. I was like, well, let's try this on for size. Let's see if it's a good fit. And just right away, boom. Like, he gels. And then, of course, he starts dating this lovely gal named Sarah. She gels. And so it just, like, has built from there into what it currently is. But even Nobody's Peach, like I thought the band was no more after the first year. And yet it came around. Yeah. Tom moved back. And so it's mostly Tom. Lucky us that Tom came back.
When you said Tom and Taylor, I thought, that's not the name of the drummer. The drummer's name is Ted. No, because Ted wrote Ticket to Hell, our favorite song off the Creepy EP. I was like, is everyone in the band's name start with a T except for you?
Yes. And all of their last names start with M.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. It's this kind of like
that's funny
weird thing. But also, yeah. Yeah. So it's Taylor Merlina, Tom McKay, and Ted Madden.
Wow.
So we joke a lot about many things, but also that weird, like, how can all of your guys' initials be the same? It's so strange.
Did you say earlier that you were named after one of your dad's best friends?
Yes.
Wow, that's rare.
Yeah.
So his last name was Matney.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if you look it up online, you'll find a fair amount of Matney last names. And I've seen a couple Matney first names, but not many. You'll see a lot more Maddie, from Madeline or other ways. But yeah. So his first name was Charles, but he went by Chuck. And he was just a really rad dude that my dad was best friends with for a long time. And he passed really tragically before I was born in a hit and run coming out of a Bonnie Raitt concert, actually.
Oh, wow.
Right? It's so sad. Just taken so suddenly. And my parents decided to name their next child after him.
Aw.
And then they tried for me for many years. And then when I finally showed up, I already had my name picked out. So
like, we don't care if it's a girl or a boy. Your name is Matt.
Right? And so I've tried to use Chuck. When you meet somebody and you don't want to give them your real name. I mean, maybe that's just a lady thing, but I've tried it. I've tried to be like, hi, my name is Chuck. And nobody ever believes me. I'm not good at lying at all. And so.
Have you thought about what song you want to play?
Yes.
What song?
Well, you name dropped it earlier. I had that in mind. I had others in mind, but I was like, that's probably the one.
So how did this song come about?
Let's see. So how songs come up for me really varies. It often is a fly-in of a line of lyrics, right? Sometimes I come up with something on guitar and then I'll play around with it until I have a feeling and want to like wrap words around it. But I'm pretty sure that Born Upriver was got a couple lines of lyrics and then started to sing that, like lyrics and a melody, right? Like I think the first line of it is probably what flew into my head first. Like, I was born upriver, at least that's what they say. Had to move to the city to try to get better pay. I mean, it's like very relatable for a rural person, right? And then the rest just kind of from there came out.
All right. So where can people hear this song besides this episode? Do you have it anywhere else?
I do not yet.
So it's brand new.
Yes.
This is the world premiere.
Yes. It's in the next crop of songs that is forming that I'll record. I will record them. It's just now that Golden Flowers is out, now that my solo album is out, and now that Creepy EP is out, I'm like ready for a little bit of a recording project break. You'll get there too, where you're like, hold on, I think I maybe don't want to be working on 5 projects at the same time. Or maybe you won't. I don't know. I just a little breather. Yeah. And then I'll start recording again.
5 minutes later.
Yeah, right? It'll come to me eventually. So yeah, this is Born Upriver. I was born up a river, at least that's what they say. I had to move to the city to try to get better pay. And I like to drink a whiskey, but I ain't all bad. I don't cuss or fight. When I get mad, it's just for fun. You might find me under the light of the moon, barefoot dancing, singing a little tune. I got nothing to hide and everything to lose, and here I am, sharing a moment, my friends, with you. When I wake up tomorrow, I'll count my blessings twice. For my loving family and folks who are kind, we all got is a gift in this life.
Oh, that was so good. I remember that last line. As soon as you started singing it, I'm like, oh yeah, each breath is a gift, as a gift, is a gift. Each breath is a gift in this life. Oh, it makes me think of, I know people hate on Spotify. On Spotify, there's a Discover Weekly.
Yeah.
And so every Monday, Olive and I would drive to school and we'd put it on. We're like, let's discover something. And the first John Craigie song I ever heard was Dissect the Bird. And I was like, who is this? Oh my gosh. How did I go through life without knowing John Craigie? Yes. You're a John Craigie fan?
Love him.
Okay, so he sings the song. It's really great. It's funny. His typical, makes the people laugh. And then also just like so heartfelt. I think about, or he says, the universe wanted you to be here. Wars had to happen. Presidents had to be shot. All this stuff. And he sings, people had to die so your eyes could open.
Wow.
And I always think about how like I went to South Korea because I needed to leave. My mom had passed away and my friend went to South Korea and I was like, I'm going to go do that. I was in a horrible relationship at the time. And I don't know if I would have went if my mom didn't pass away, because she passed away. I failed a course. I got pushed back a year. I had to meet all these new people, met that girl who went to Korea. So it's just amazing to think like, God, I have this like perfect mini me upstairs, and that horrible thing had to happen. But like, look what I got, like, it's amazing that like you're here because of all those millions of things happened at one time for you to show up. Yeah. And so I always think about that when I hear that last line. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for that reflection and bringing all that depth to it. Yeah. And just the depth that you bring in general. Like I see what you do for the community and I'm really excited about it and grateful to you and Spencer for all the support that you offer for the arts, but just people in general through your podcast and your radio show. And
well, the radio show is so much fun. Even if
I can tell you guys
Music Project did not air it, we would still just do it.
Yeah.
Because that's how it started. We would just do this in the car. We'd do That Reminds Me of in the car.
Okay, yeah.
And then it was Valentine weekend. We didn't have the kids. And I said, hey, let's just like record it. Let's just record a radio show. Like my last radio show. Let's just like pretend we have a show. And so we're just goofing around, we're like playing like Jack Manley, like, making fun and just go. I think we were playing him, or we went to go see him the next day. And so we were like promoting his show to air, like to no one. It was so much fun. And then I was like, what if we just like asked them? So I think we just emailed it to them and we're like, can you guys listen to this? Do you think that like this is a show we could do? And they're like, yes. Wow. So we did it. Yeah. So much fun.
And that's just so gutsy and brave.
Yep.
And like...
They could have said, you're insane. No one wants to listen to this.
But it is. It's like you can tell you guys are having a great time. Everyone that I describe your radio show to as well is like, that is such a cool idea to
I've
have
heard that a lot too.
The local artist and then here is the thing that it reminds. Yeah, it's brilliant. And it's been so fun for me to listen back and hear what you like in my songs too. Like you like likening to, I even made notes about it, but one was like Big Rock Candy Mountain.
Oh, that was Spencer's, yeah.
Yeah.
He comes up with some huge, like deep cuts and like, I don't know where you got that from.
I love that song.
Yeah.
Like Burl Ives is amazing and I love that song. And so when one of my songs was compared to that, I was like, oh, and then there was the Trailer Livin' and a John Craigie song.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, John, like, because again, yeah, I'm a huge fan of his.
Because that really reminded me of like, he just sprinkles in humor. Not so much that it takes over and you're like, oh, this is an Adam Sandler song. Not like that. But it's like just enough to like lighten you up, you know? No, it's such a great project and I'm so thankful that I get to do it. Like it's like, no, the thanks are all here. Like you guys are the ones doing the music. We're just like, listen to this. And I sit back. So thank you.
Oh, no. Yeah, the love, right? And that like too, in making music, people are going to appreciate it, right? It's going to be enjoyed. But then to have it so directly reflected back, the enjoyment, like you guys are doing on your show for so many musicians, I feel like it's worth reflecting back that's important, because we don't always get much feedback very directly about our stuff, or at least I don't. Right?
And that's the one really good thing about social media. Like, I think that, obviously you could use it to ruin your life by mindlessly scrolling, or you could use it to like build other people up. Yeah. And I that's what I choose to do.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's just great. It like means a lot to know that somebody likes my music enough to be like, I'm going to play this for other people, right? Like, that is really special.
I'm going to clean the house today, and I'm going to put Matney on.
Like, when you mentioned how much Riley likes it and everything, I was just like, oh, like, that's why I play. Yeah. That's why I record music, is when I think about my friends and their families listening to it. Like, that really means so much to me.
I think that's even better thinking about the kids, because when I go in the car in the morning, Olive, we have a good system. I'm upstairs and I text her and go, can you please make me coffee? And she'll be like, on it. Like, she's already halfway done it. And then she also knows that we have to warm the car up before we leave. So she's out, she grabs my keys, she's warming it up. And so often she's already in the car. And so I'm getting ready, running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And I'll go in the car and she's playing Her Name Was Princess, Seraphim on repeat.
She loves that song. And
I love that. I love that Clay knows that we don't only really we say, yeah, we love your album, Clay. It's on repeat in our family's history, I love that. So yeah.
So cool.
And I tell people all the time, I go, I'm not saying Morgan Wallen isn't good, but I think you just like him because you hear him more often. It's all about repetition.
Yeah.
If I give you a CD and tell you this is the only CD you're allowed to listen to for a week, you are going to love those songs. We all live in a web, and it's beautiful.
I love that.
And you have to come back to Skagit. That's what I've decided
on this
podcast.
Oh, yeah. I mean, never really left, in a way, right?
No, but we have to get practical steps. So Hannah Tilley, she's the one who got us this house.
Okay.
And Andrew Valen, he's our mortgage guy. I'm going to talk to them and assign you to their cases. And we'll connect you guys, and they can start looking for a place for you.
There we
go. October 30th. Let's see how long it takes them to find you a place from now on. Our next podcast will be when you're my neighbor. And just kidding. Well, thank you for coming over. I will definitely post all your because you're really good about posting when you're playing next, so people can check your Facebook and Instagram with show dates, and they can listen to all your stuff online. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you, Liz. It's been so fun to share in your studio space and be a guest on your podcast. That's what I was. Yeah.
Thanks, Matney. Okay, so it makes me so laugh how you ended that, because I was just telling Spencer, I'm like,